Let's see, I see we have a number of people on remote tonight.
Everybody's here.
And if anyone is looking to talk for something that is not on the agenda, we do have a privilege of the floor. If you're all for something on the agenda, we'll move on. I have approval of the November minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Mike, do you have anything from the development office?
No, just ugly sweater day, that's it.
Yes, did you win?
Good job. Good job, Mike.
Yeah, I'm only on wearing one, so yeah, I guess I did win.
That deserves some sort of medal.
Yeah. No, nothing going on, nothing out of the ordinary.
Referrals from the town board, we don't have any current ones. We did submit the memo, to the town board for the German Brothers. So I had sent that along, I think they could, if I remember right, they continued it to January meeting, so. The public hearing is still going on. CIC, I don't know if you've heard anything.
I haven't heard anything, and I bumped into Tom Schwartz on Monday. He hasn't heard anything, so we don't know. We don't know anything at the moment.
Okay. No news.
Right.
Ordinance committee, let's see, we were talking about short-term rentals. They're making an update, some things to basically clarify that. Let's see. Upcoming is minimum square footage for residents. And can't remember. I don't remember what the other thing was. Oh, wait, let me see.
You know what the update was on the short-term rentals, what they were clarifying?
A lot of the things were to make the application process a little better, clear up some things that were like matching up with New York State code or town code. Mike, did you have any?
No, Mike Murphy and Kristen were more involved in that.
So, yeah, it was a lot of just like clarifying for the most part. They found some things where like they had sleeping area, they were using that term as bedroom, so they switched it to be bedroom, so it's consistent throughout. And so that would match up with what's on floor plans and stuff like that.
Is that available online?
The red line one that they just reviewed, or the one that they passed earlier near?
Oh, well, I have a copy of the one they passed earlier. I just
Okay.
wondered if the news stuff is online.
I can send you the,
I would appreciate
Okay.
that. I had some interest from a different watershed that is looking at this kind of a roundabout way. My cousin, who is provost at UNLV, is acquainted with the scientist who is working on the lake, you know, in New York. And that was kind of the connection, but they are looking at that and wondered what was in place here.
okay, yeah, I can send that along.
Thank you, I'd appreciate it.
They had some updates some things that they were going to change from that, but then they were gonna like move it forward. Because the ordinance committee has 3 town board members, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
That expedites it.
yeah. So they're all pretty familiar with what it is, and
Okay, thank you.
I will do that. And I think we're up to reviews. So the first one is Derek Tillman. Derek, I see you're online. Did you want to introduce your application, what it's about?
Yeah, I have an application just to build a small pole barn on my property for just dog training use.
I'm bringing up stuff, so if anybody else wants to talk, go ahead.
So Kristen worked on the determination for this one. It's pretty straightforward. He
That's the detail sheet.
is looking, yeah, he's actually has letter of operations in there.
Okay.
Is that what you want to open?
Yeah, could you, if you
Yep,
pull that
yep.
up? And I think, yeah, that one right there.
The
Operations.
Yep.
they're also superseded. This one?
One. What's the latest date?
Oh, there we go.
There you go, okay, yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's straightforward, he has to get a special use permit, obviously, for major home occupation. And let's see, were there any variances? Oh, he's putting a wastewater system. And he just described it in there, how it's gonna work. How he's gonna take care of any waste from the dogs, so. He needs, because he's on a corner lot. So he has 2 fronts and 2 sides, no rear. So he has to get a variance to where he's gonna put the building. Because it's gonna be a front yard. And that's just, semantics, basically. And the accessory building, he needs a variance for extra accessory building in that zone. Other than that, everything seems, no major issues here.
And there's no plans for dog boarding or breeding or anything other than training?
Correct.
And are you doing something with the runoff from the barn roof? Are you directing that someplace?
There's a nice site plan in there, so we can,
Yeah.
shows the rain garden and it's,
Perfect.
yeah.
Let's see.
There you go.
What am I?
Up there.
Okay.
Just up here is what we're looking at. Okay.
That's for the house, that's not for the project.
I'm Greg
Right.
McMahon LaRue, despite what the screen says.
There's another one.
There should be a site plan that shows the barn location. This is
All right.
That's from the house. Yeah.
um
11:15, I think that's it.
This one here?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That
Yep.
should be it.
Sorry, there's a lot of files.
That's the one.
yeah, this this one shows a rain garden located in the at the rear side of the barn. We're going to be directing some of the gravel parking area to this, and also roof leaders, roof runoff from the pole barn.
Perfect. I see you have some of the plants that you're using there noted. Nice. And this is really the limit of the disturbance area. You're not like cutting down other brush or trees or anything?
No, the disturbance areas is about a little over 20,000 square feet, and it's confined within that area that you see right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
All right.
Long drive. I'll sleep. Maybe.
The rain garden is fairly sizable, so that's
Yeah,
a
it
good
is.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
You like the rain garden?
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of comments.
No,
I
it's quite acceptable, actually.
I know I
So
saw,
a
in
nice
the-
project.
yeah, I know, I saw in the statement of operations, it's only gonna be like one dog at a time.
Mhm.
So it's not like a
That
lot of,
seems quite reasonable.
yeah. I don't think we have a lot of comments on this. We like the rain garden idea and I think you addressed most of what we would normally have to say. There's electricity in this barn.
Yes, there will be electricity. There will be water that's from a well. And then there's a bathroom and sink, very low discharge that'll tie into the existing septic system.
Very well, it's on that, yeah. Good.
I think we'd say dark sky compliant if you're using lighting on the barn. On the outside of the barn.
There's no area lighting proposed
Okay.
for it. There will more than likely just be an architectural light by the door entrance for this,
Okay.
but no area lighting.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Good.
Looks good.
I think that's us. That's it from us.
Yes.
We like it.
Thank you.
We're much easier than the planning board brothers. Did you have any questions for us?
No, I think we're all set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for coming in.
All right, thank you.
So next one we have Sticklegate.
Mhm.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are
Hello.
you today?
Doing well yourselves?
Good.
Good.
Did you want to introduce your project?
Sure. So my request is to put a 12 by 16 shed inside a defined conservation easement in the rear of my property. Over the house was built in 2008, and over the last 15 years, folks have been maintaining that part of their properties, using it for different things. There's sheds and gardens and fire pits and all sorts of things. And my neighbors have respected, there's a tree line between my house and the houses to the rear. So everybody's respected that, but it's really manicured lawn up to that line. And it's probably about 25-30 feet in from the back property line. So I submitted a request for a shed, I guess middle of summer, and it was denied because it's inside the conservation easement, and was looking for permission to do so. I've marked the map there with just walking the neighborhood of everybody who's got some sort of structure inside the easement. So I'm not sure how that was approved, but not here for that. It was just looking for my approval.
See it on the
Oh,
board.
okay.
Yeah. I was looking at Encore earlier and it really helped.
Yeah, you can see everything.
Yeah, you can see what's got going on in the neighborhood.
When you bought the property, what was explained to you regarding the conservation easement and the conservation subdivision?
It was explained, there used to be a post in my neighbor's property that really was the line of where we could manicure to, and then really everything beyond that point was to be left wild.
Yeah.
I think probably the second to the last, or the last property built inside the track here, and folks had been mowing all along. So I just really sort of followed suit to begin with, just because it had been seeded and taken care of. You can kind of see where that little, I guess, culvert is, where water drains down to, which never has water, hasn't had water since I've been here. But you can see that tree line between the houses, and I guess even 3 doors down from me, there's a pretty substantial greenhouse, shed, and garden in that space. Since this picture was taken, my neighbor 2 doors to the left, there's a shed back there, and then you can see the 2 immediately behind my house. There's some there. So obviously folks are utilizing the property that way. For trying to keep the integrity of the slope that's back there, instead of pouring any type of pad or concrete slab, things that there's a block package I can use where it really just kind of supports it up on blocks versus disturbing all that ground, just to get the shed level. It's a pretty significant slope sort of towards the house, but it levels out pretty good, maybe about 20 feet or so from the back of the pool. So that's really where we're looking to put it.
How big is the shed?
12 by 16.
Okay.
Single story.
So the conservation easement area is kind of in line with those fences that one?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
correct.
On either side of that rear
Yeah.
property line.
You can sort of almost see that natural line where that fence line is, because that's where the drainage goes to. There's a like a receptacle on my neighbor's property behind the shed where water could drain to if necessary, and then just sort of makes that right turn up through the garden for 2081.
No,
So this was part of the Paddleford Brook Greenway. Was that why maybe it was a question for Mike, why the conservation subdivision was proposed?
We were discussing that with Doug, why it was proposed to begin with. We were still uncertain if it was the town did that or if it was HOA did that. But
there's no HOA on the property.
right, so and that we found that out, there was no HOA on the property. It was the town, but they've obviously been lenient with other pieces being in there, and you're, like you said, in good faith, you're putting it on a block foundation and doing disturbing there. And when we looked at the land and the way it slopes and everything, that's your only option really to do that. Since you have the pool back there. So I had done your determination on that, and yeah, I saw that, that was the only place you can possibly put it. So
I would need a variance in any other spot in the yard. So
right, you need side variances and all that. And
yeah.
so but yeah, it was pretty straightforward. So
no, you can't get a variance. I saw there was conversations about this. You can't get a variance against the easement. So
against the easement?
yeah, you can't. Chris Stadler said you can't.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, there was a conversation going back and forth, and because Sarah had asked questions.
Right.
And so he said you can't get a variance against the conservation easement. It's just the way it is.
So whoever else put structures in there, just kind of put them in there.
Yeah, without asking.
That never happens much.
No, it's wrong. We never see that happen.
That's the thing, though, they're there by others, and I hear what you're saying, but
Yeah,
there's several there by others, and what do you do about those?
yeah, I know I can't support putting something in the conservation easement. I think it's a bad precedent to set. To approve it.
Even though it's already.
I understand.
Yeah, I know.
Was there another larger easement area identified as part of this subdivision? I mean, it just seems kind of a interesting. The easements are to protect ecologically tenuous areas, and it just is kind of a strange layout for the easement, it seems to me. But this was put together back in the early 2000s. Is that when the subdivision came about?
Yes.
How
That
old
one,
is
the
Stapleton?
original one that.
So I think we were in 3 or 4 phases. I was in the last phase, and like I was saying, probably the second to the last or the last house built. I remember driving through the neighborhood once upon a time, so it had to have been probably in 04-ish.
Probably got a date lower. Like,
Yeah,
there's
when it
gotta be
first
some kind of
started.
title and date there. There you go.
2006.
You see the signatures 2007 here.
Right.
So there's not other unoccupied big lots as part of this, which are protected. It's just this corridor between these rows of houses.
Right.
It is odd. It is a lot smaller than you would think a conservation easement
Yeah.
would be. I know like Piercebrook there, and I think we're like quite a substantial area that they set aside. But this could have been early on, maybe they were just.
Looking at some earlier minutes, just searching for the street name, it sounds like this has been an ongoing issue. I think back in 2016, there was reports of people, putting up sheds and stuff. It's probably something the ordinance committee maybe needs to look at.
How far back does Big Tom? Probably from the beginning of the subdivision.
Yeah, so there's the beginning.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To see the time lapse on my
Oh.
home. That's
This is actually public. You can go here.
yeah. I've been on Encore a few times, but yeah. Thank you.
Yep. So my guess is that the town board is going to have to weigh in on this one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Since it's looking at that one map, it said it was an easement to the town. So if there's not an HOA, it would probably be the town board, I think, to comment in on this.
So there's not a whole lot we can say but not say because it's a town. It's pretty much a town board.
Well,
issue.
we can give our opinion.
Well,
Mine is different than yours.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
In that,
mine is that it's really unfortunate that this hasn't been examined before.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and that's earlier minutes talked about the lack of enforcement.
Mhm.
yeah, it's a difficult thing to
It
do.
makes it very hard then.
It does.
Especially since most of these people are taking care of the grassy areas back there.
Mhm.
They're not touching any of the wood and stuff, but.
My personal thought is that the accessory building that's proposed is it's going to be placed. It's not going to be any disturbance of soil.
Right.
I realize it's in a conservation, but myself personally, because there are others in the neighborhood, however they got there.
Right.
I mean, do you require everyone who's there bring themselves into a compliance because of the conservation easement?
Right.
People will not be very happy.
No, and I mean, the CEO literally could go out there and say, but.
You're in violation.
But you're in violation.
Yeah,
They'd have to prove that, well, and then you have, if they have a C of O, if they do have something that says that they got it. And then we have to prove,
right,
so it's a back and forth that I
yeah.
don't think anybody wants to jump into. But again, Mr. Natal is planning on putting, like you said, putting it on block, so there's
Yeah.
not gonna be any disturbance, which I,
Myself personally, I don't have an issue with it personally. But that's me.
I have an issue just in that it would set a bad precedent for
Mhm.
us to say, yep, you
Yeah,
can
I
build
understand that.
a
Forget
conservation
understand that.
easement because it's not the only one in town.
Mhm.
No, I think town board needs to take hold of it and do something.
Mhm.
That's a good
Definitive.
suggestion.
Mhm.
That's a good
That's
suggestion.
my-
Gary,
That's
did you
my
have
only
any
suggestion.
comments?
He's muted.
Gary?
Did he mute himself?
Sorry, I was muted. So, yeah, I agree that it'd be something for the town board to make a decision on and kind of weighing the impact on all those who have been non-compliant. But again, there just hasn't been the enforcement. It sounds like, looking at some of these earlier minutes, that it was a recognized problem, but just gave people a pass.
Yeah, I had a feeling that folks were just operating, not being compliant. I'm just not built that way. So I'm
Mhm.
glad we're having the conversation and, this is brought forward. I don't want to get my neighbors in trouble, and I'm not looking for that type of thing, but I would hope that, given that my neighbors are utilizing the property in that fashion, and the way that I would structure the shed, that it would be acceptable for that type of variance.
Mhm.
Eric, we're talking about the stable gates application where they were proposing a shed in the conservation easement area. Did you have any comments on it? I'm sorry, I know you just walked
Yeah,
in.
we have it up on the screen, the property also, so.
Yeah, I was just my only concern was, setting a precedent. If this is indeed an easement and there are controls or limits on that parcel, does a small exception turn into a larger one and a larger one?
Mhm.
Mhm.
The project itself no doubt has merit.
Like the construction ideas and all of that, but
Mhm.
it certainly, it's time that something definitive was decided about it. Either it's a conservation easement that people respect or it's not, and that's town board.
Tony, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I guess the only other thing was, I did speak to the neighbors on either side of me, and they did, send emails to me in support.
Mhm.
So if worried about the how my immediate neighbors would feel about it, they don't have a problem with it. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see those. So what we'll probably do is we will put together a memo and send it along to the town board. Since this isn't currently anything that the ZBA can look at. And I don't believe it's on the slate for the planning board either. So it would be a town board thing. So we will submit a memo to there. And we'll probably suggest that the town board take action on it, and we will share the opinions that we did here in the meeting.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. When is that? Would this be in the next town board meeting?
Maybe January possibly.
I'm not sure. Mike,
Will I just get notified through
Through
the
cloud.
cloud permit? Okay,
Yeah,
very
you'll
good.
get Notification, yep.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for your time.
Thank
thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
I know.
I will send a message to say.
Stablegate has been, it's been discussed though frequently through the years.
Oh, yes.
So I'll ask I'll ask Sarah and she can maybe get that on the town board agenda. All right. We're moving right along. I like that.
Mhm.
And lastly, Peter, did you wanna introduce us to this one?
Yeah, so this is Artisan Meats. It's a fairly simple project. We are replacing, Joseph bought this, and it's going to be used as a meat processing, basically a salami and sausage manufacturing site. Due to some state health department requirements, we got to put access around the building, both sides. So we're putting a sidewalk on the north and west side. And we're also going to be upgrading some of the HVAC equipment. We are required to go to the planning board because of our disturbance is over the threshold for needing planning board approvals, and we are also being required to get a couple of variances for the HVAC equipment that's going on the west side of the property.
Are you doing any landscaping along with your work that you've got planned?
No, the front of the property has some trees, but we're not changing the side facing Airport Road. The sidewalk is going in an area that is all grass at the moment, so we're not removing any landscaping. So basically the sidewalks are all just going in a grass area. The building immediately to the west, it kind of covers that facade for the most part, to Brickyard Road, and to the rear there's a tree line which we're keeping, so there's really no need to add landscaping to the rear of the building. We are not removing any plants or trees as a part of this project. I know you guys are big on trees.
Yes, we
Yes,
are.
we are.
You've heard that before, huh?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of these, yeah.
There we go. That's always so
Okay.
helpful. Can you zoom in more, Kim?
Yeah,
To like where the sidewalk's gonna go on the west, right?
Yeah, so in this view, it's kind of, yeah, along the, I guess, southwest and northwest faces of that building. It's an 8 foot wide sidewalk, just for access to the HVAC equipment and for emergency access. There's gonna be some additional doors installed along the rear of the building.
I don't really have a lot of comments on this one either.
Doesn't seem like there's a great deal.
Yeah, just side setback variances.
Yeah.
Just because they're expanding the sidewalks, that's it.
And it is a state.
State requirement, right?
Requirement,
Yeah, so it has to be done.
As a small business owner, we have to be
That's right.
sympathetic to that.
That's right.
You've got a lot of roof area. Any thoughts of taking advantage of some of the state incentives for installation of solar panels?
We have not considered that, no. And we're not making any modifications to the building itself, so I don't know if these, the existing roof would even be structurally capable of the load.
Well, if you do put in any landscaping, we definitely suggest native plants and trees. So.
Noted, yeah.
Don't really have anything else to add.
No.
Really, it's not much. The sidewalks will increase some of the impervious surface, but it's, looks like there's
There's a big pond on
adequate
the corner though,
absorption area
too.
of the ground there, so road ditch is close.
and there's a big.
Yeah,
pond.
we're directing, we're not collecting or anything, so we're just directing this to the grass areas where
Yeah.
where it's you know, there's some minor swales for to get the drainage moving, but right now it's functioning well. We're not anticipating any issues with the additional sidewalk.
Okay,
I don't see any problems,
fine.
so. Okay. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks
All
good.
right, all right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful night.
You as well.
So famous for trees.
Well, you know,
It's great.
Oh, yeah, we want to keep them in town.
It's a great product.
That's nice.
well, you know, we talked to residents and other people a little bit at a time,
Yeah.
getting the message going. So, newsletters. Thank you for the article, Gary, and thank you for the article, Pat.
Sure.
So I put them both in.
Town hall display, I did put up some of the heritage trees that are on
Very
town
nice.
property.
Oh.
And I believe the heritage tree program has been given the seal of approval by the town
Nice.
supervisor, and we will
Oh.
be offering the opportunity to have people nominate their own trees for heritage status in town,
Very
which would
nice.
be kind of nice. I think it would be a great project to write up a heritage tree tour brochure, so you'd have the addresses and maybe so you could drive around and see them, you know.
Mhm. That'd be
I
cool.
think it'd be
That'd
kind of
good.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Would be fun.
Mhm. Which would make a good newsletter article pretty soon too.
I need newsletter articles for January, so if anybody wants
Okay.
to submit any. We're getting a lot of eyes on the newsletter. People really did want it to come back.
They did.
Various board members and staff all said that they were getting asked about it, so.
Oh, good.
So I think it's a good place for us to share information. I do share it out to a variety of Facebook pages, so. It does get some more eyes that way. If anybody wants to give me an article, I think I put the deadline for January is the 22nd of December.
Mm.
I'd like to write a point-to-point kayaking one, but more towards kayaking season, warm weather
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
But I get
Timing
that.
is right.
But if there's anything else people want to write on, feel free. Happy to have it.
Do an ice fishing article, Eric.
There you
Oh,
go.
are you an ice fisherman? No.
Introduction to ice fishing.
Yes. Warm boots, yes.
Sitting on the ice for hours doesn't sound like fun to me, but I know other people think.
That could be good. That could be fun.
I've only done it once, and once is enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've done it once.
I agree. Yeah. Take a lot of beer with you. That's the secret.
And then you don't notice the cold from the ice, right?
No. No, I can't promise anything until after Christmas.
That's fine.
And do you need it by?
The 22nd of December.
Oh. Yeah. Maybe we can pull from the old archives,
Yeah,
something.
if
That would be something.
if
There's plenty of articles. I mean, if we need to.
yeah, or I can write something. It's
That would be good. And
whatever like strikes my brain at the time. But if anybody does want to submit something, I'm always happy to get it. So
Okay.
we got the town hall exhibit as trees. I think that's great. I would love. I think a tour would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I think it would too. I think they're, you know, it's to drive around and see them, particularly. You know, they are at different seasons, because sometimes things are blooming and sometimes they're not, and you know, then it's just very interesting to see these things. I have a few that I will go out of my way to go by and see.
Yeah. And in the winter, they look kind of like sculptures.
Yes, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Really.
Actually, winter's a great time to see trees,
Great
because you
time,
can
yeah.
see all
You
the
can.
structure there. Right, so. It's quite.
And so I'm sure whenever we get a form put together for nominating heritage trees, you know, we
Mhm.
kind of have some of the criteria in mind,
Mhm.
and
I think
we'll
we
try
got,
to
Yeah.
write that up for you.
very nice. Training, anybody's got any last minute training to get in? Go for it, I think I should have looked before coming, but I didn't think of that. I don't know if everybody got their training in, but hopefully. Year-end budget purchases, I was looking at White Oak Nursery.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know I was thinking about we talked about bluebird houses. They would probably need some sort of pole or
Yeah, they
something to
would.
go on.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that to come up with what we need.
I own a steel post driver, how about that? Among other interesting things.
So maybe, I was thinking, maybe if we wanted to buy shrubs and things like that for, Miller Park this year, maybe then we could buy like the birdhouses and the posts and all that stuff next year.
Mhm.
Kind of make it
One of the things that we had planted at Miller Park was on the little part that is next to the wetland, you know, over on West Road, and we had planted a number of raspberry bushes to define the property line and keep people on the park instead of wandering over onto the farm fields.
Right.
Besides which, the raspberries are good bird food.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and few people are willing to walk through them.
Yeah.
That was the idea with that, and those were mowed off by our prior landscape people. Along with a whole bunch of other things that were destroyed by them, blueberry bushes and trees and some other things that we had planted, and they are gone. And it would be, I think, still a nice thing to replace those. Because the landowner was, at the time at least, adamant that people stay on park property and not be encroaching on that other land. And that was just what I thought would fulfill the function and feed birds too.
Yeah. So we
So
need we should
think
consider
about doing
replacing that. Yeah.
I think the raspberries are harder ones to come by if you're trying to like get the black caps
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
or blueberries or something,
Yeah.
anything that
Yeah.
that people will keep.
Dogwoods are nice.
People can find, yes. Yeah.
The
It was-
dogwoods at my place have gotten quite,
Oh, well,
thick.
those, well, there are lots of things, you know.
Yeah.
Nine bark is really hardy.
Yeah, nine
It-
bark's
it
good.
would- And it's pretty.
It's
and
pretty.
It doesn't really have the food value that berry bushes would have, but
the dogwoods do.
berry is pretty good, yeah.
They, a lot of the migrating birds eat the dogwood
Yeah.
berries and stuff.
Mhm.
But I thought, this had nannyberry, it had spice bush,
Yeah.
had serviceberry, those are all.
Yeah, choke cherries good too.
So do we purchase them
Yeah.
this year and then plant them in the spring kind of thing?
I think,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would, if we purchased them now, he came on to them to
Right.
spring for us.
Right.
they also had, let's see, can I see it on here? There's a potted plants, oh, there they are. There was also elderberry in here,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, elderberry is really pretty.
I'm not
It's
familiar
great
with
bird food.
buffalo berry. I don't know what that
I'm not
is.
sure about it either.
There's all the choke cherries, the dogwoods,
Yeah.
elderberry, they had flowering raspberry, they're actually quite pretty.
Mhm. Yeah, they are.
Do they need shade? I usually see them growing in shade.
Yeah,
That's-
they, they'll grow in shade,
So when you click on
Quite
profile,
often.
does it tell you about the plant?
Mhm. Yeah, some of
Yeah.
them didn't have it, but a lot of them do, let me see.
Yes. But often when you see those, they are bird planted, so the birds are roosting on the trees and
Yep.
depositing the seeds along with a little fertilizer.
So if people are happy, I'll.
Full shade, full sun, or two full shades, so anywhere.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They're pretty, they look like roses,
Yeah,
the flower.
Yeah,
and they're just prickly enough that people don't walk through them.
yeah.
There's hazelnut, there's,
Perfect.
Well.
and those 5x8 pots are, it's like a square pot and it's tall, so.
Well, those would be nice, because.
Yeah.
Get a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're actually a nice price for these different things, so. I was thinking a couple of some of the 2 to 3 foot ones, and then there's a bunch of these that are a smaller one. It would be a nice for them to plan up some of that area.
So will the parks people do that? Or does the ACB have to go out and
I
plan
think
it?
spade.
Edith has to go and tell whoever's gonna be taking care of them to take care of them.
Yeah.
And not mow them down.
Well, I
If
don't
the
think
parks
that our
did it, then
present
they would-
personnel will have any problem with not
Yeah.
mowing them down. It was,
The
it was the
previous-
prior people.
Yeah,
And they mowed everything. And put black plastic around it so that they didn't have to. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes. I saw
Well,
Dan
have to
Marion
see to it that
actually
that does
running
not
to the
happen.
truck for his knife. It kept plastic out. You remember that?
Oh,
It was
dear.
sprinting. Like 2 more minutes is getting the difference, He was so distressed.
But this had some
those are good
nice,
suggestions, Kim.
nice, different species on it. There's a lot of shrubby stuff that we could. Would probably be nice there, as you were talking about wanting to foster birds.
Yes.
Would we have to contact the Parks Department and get their okay, or just alert them that?
I'm not exactly sure how this works. This is the first time for me.
Yeah.
We have X amount of dollars in the
Yeah.
ECB budget.
Yep. And so what I was going to do is come up with a list. I'll share it with everybody and then. I'll pass that to Lindsay and Jess.
Mhm.
So that can get worked out for purchases.
Mhm.
I think if they like earmark the money, they can do it in the spring, but
Yeah, I did so too.
there's something like that.
Reserve it,
with the-
yeah.
the-
We just don't wanna lose it.
Correct.
We can do something good with it by the end of the year.
So I think that would be nice to do and. Definitely.
Yes, I think it would be very beneficial. Yeah, excellent notion.
So I will finish up that list and I was looking at it earlier today and it just. I got away from me.
I know, my wish list.
So.
Okay.
That was the budget. And then tree board and anything else anybody wants to talk about.
No, well, I think I already told you about the
Tree
trees.
board. Yep. I don't know if anybody had anything else they wanted to mention.
Yeah, I haven't been privy to all the administrative changes taking place in the town. And I was wondering if you could, or if the dust has settled, kind of update at least me on what's going on.
That's you, Mike.
That's me.
Yeah.
So Jean Chrisman is no longer the town clerk, she is county clerk. I believe she starts. Does she start in January? Did she start December 1st?
I think she has begun.
I'm not sure.
But Crystal Lynn Lake is taking over for her. As the town clerk. Doug is leaving for a town near Dallas. The 19th, the 18th is his last day here of this month. We're not sure. I think in the meantime is Jared taking over in the meantime.
That's my understanding.
That's what I heard too, but I didn't hear it from him. I just heard that he would be taking over in the meantime, but they might still be looking for a manager, so. That's what's going on so far.
I think there was
Right.
a town board meeting called for this Friday to talk about.
Oh,
that.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you have to register for it though. It's
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, I think, right, or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
I didn't sign it.
And let's see. There's somebody else. Dale.
Oh, Dale's retiring from code enforcement at the end of the year.
Mhm.
We have 2 code enforcement officers, so. I still think they're looking for a third. And. I mean, we got Sarah as the town planner now. I think that's it. In development at least.
A lot of change.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of changes, and we did the cloud permit this year, so that was a lot of changes too. I think you missed, I had talked in the beginning that, I did send along the memo to the town board for the Turner Brothers. And they've extended their public hearing to January.
Oh,
So they haven't made any decisions on it yet. So I think if you still have more comments, you could definitely share. I think that's it.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second,
That's okay. I seconded the first one.
in favor?
Aye.
Hey, happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays, to everyone.
See you next year.
See you next year.
See you in January.
Red Christmas.